that, and they oh, well, he can't play defense. And a lot of times I'm like, that seems to be I always think that's a choice. And I think, Brad can get a guy to play defense if they buy in and, they get it. I don't think Jabari's ever actually going to be capable of playing decent. I think you're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah, I don't think the buy-in is the issue. I just think
it's
physically
he can't
do it.
And it's so strange. Like, he really –
his stance is bad.
All of it.
He
has the
upright.
affect. He has the affect of a much, much, much older player, Like, he looks like a guy who's
he is essentially.
He has those vibes.
He looks like a guy who's clinging to his last couple of years of NBA action in terms of his physicality.
Even though he's 26.
Wily veteran, but he's 26. He looks like he's like 36, 38, and I'm going to sneak out one more year, I don't know if that's a matter of physical conditioning or he's just broke from the knees or whatever. He was but he's really slow and he's kind of right. He's got a YMCA sort of kind of, posture, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's hairline too. I think you're looking at his hairline and seeing that start to go. And
but he's still
this
useful.
Guy looks a lot older than 26. But he is. But here's the other thing. It's conditioning. I mean, this guy literally wasn't in the league when they signed him. But even when he was in the league, he was barely playing. You're talking about literal minutes total for the season, like under 20 or something like that. And then prior to that, he's on teams like the Bulls, the Wizards. I mean, these aren't good organizations to really build something and get something going. And I feel like this guy came in the league, tore his ACL, and never really got his footing after that. And I think that's why, this little relationship here with the Celtics might be the best thing for both sides, because it could maybe snap Parker back into, I'm not going to say back into his high school days, but it might get him back on track to where he was when he was considered a top prospect, So I agree with you. He looks like a guy that hasn't played in a long, long time. It's because he hasn't. So this is all getting his conditioning back and getting into the flow of the offense. And I agree. I mean, you don't really want to see him start chucking threes. You want to see him work for it down low. And I think he does have some moves. And he got up there for a dunk today. He looked a little bit like that Aaron Gordon 2.0 for a second, and when he was flying through the air.
Yeah.
I'm not coming off that just yet.
I love what Joe Sway said about imagining him as a 5, and we haven't seen a ton of that yet with him. But I think when they go with wing-heavy lineups and they want to go smaller and faster and more versatile, that'll be the way to go. They can hide him a little bit in the pick and roll with length around him. We've seen them be able to play shorter guys, and he's about Tice's height when you think about it, 6'8". So I think they could play him at 5, get some nice rolling, cutting action, and he doesn't have to play the perimeter at all in that sense.
Brad said it right out of the gate. Like, he's a 4-5 here. He's a 4 and a small ball 5. This is, again, we talked about closing lineups. Potentially, if you wanted to go small, and we were like, well, who's going to be the small ball center in this group? If you went with Jalen, Jason, Marcus, and Kemba, who would be the small ball center? Parker probably, because the other option is Grant, and that makes more sense.
Ainge said it.
Right. And Ainge said it in the broadcast. If that's what you want to go, that's kind of your answer there if you want to do it. And you could go positionless with Fournier in there with that 5, theoretically. And again,
they have options now for sure.
Parker's not a switchable defender, but it's again, everybody's in and around the same size. At that thing, you're going from 6'4" with Marcus, who can absolutely defend up to the, to like a 6'8", 6'9" guy, to 6'7", 6'8", 6'8", 6'10". That's an interesting lineup there. And you wouldn't be stunned to see that from time to time when everybody's healthy, if we ever freaking see it. It's unbelievable with this team. It just can't get there.
Yeah, down the stretch, you're looking for mismatches. You're trying to find where can you go. And when you've got Jabari at the 5, that's a mismatch automatically against damn near any center in the – now, can he stop them at the other end? Probably not. But late in the game, how many teams are really looking to their center to get them buckets? I mean, okay, the Sixers, okay. Other than them in the East, teams are more concerned about getting their wing guys going down the stretch. And so technically you probably can hide him down the stretch in games defensively because teams aren't going to attack him the way they would other positions because their best players are at other positions. So he, like as Bobby mentioned, he gives them a definite option that has the potential to have a positive domino effect for the Celtics when you talk about switching and interchangeable lineups, particularly late stages of games.
Yeah, it could be tough for opposing centers to guard him too, so that almost mitigates that pick and roll switch factor on the defensive side because the other team probably isn't going to have their big out there forcing those switches. So, and again, it's not the end of the world if he has to go out and run to the perimeter. It's not ideal, but he's a wing by position, so he's able to at least be comfortable doing that. Again, I don't see him factoring heavily into what they do come postseason, particularly if they're healthy. You'd almost prefer not to play him at all. But he gives them an option here, particularly if they're down in games where they need to get some more offensively oriented lineups in there, get some bench scoring, let their starters get a little more spell run, perhaps with some leads here. He just gives them the option to do quite a few different things when it comes to where they are at certain points in games here. And the way they've gushed over him has been telling so far. Brad seems thrilled to have him here. Ainge obviously has targeted him for a long time. It is interesting that they had a chance to do this for so long and it's just now, but I'm happy with it. Like there is no risk here whatsoever, and so far it's been nice upside.